Can we engineer our way out of this apocalypse? 11 lakh crores. That's more than India's health budget. They are literally printing money from pollution. Pollution cost India about 1.36% of its GDP. This is money evaporating into thin air. Found out that the Red Fort is turning black. Welcome back. Look at this thing behind me. That's a smog tower. It stands about 24 meters tall and it has around 40 fans. And it costs the Indian taxpayer about 25 crores. Ideally, it's supposed to suck in this toxic soup we call air, supposed to filter it, and pump out fresh oxygen like a giant set of lungs for New Delhi. But trying to clean Delhi's air with a smog tower is the scientific equivalent of trying to air condition the Sahara Desert with the windows open. We are going to look at the deep tech startups and try to answer this one question. Can we engineer our way out of this apocalypse? Or we're just trying to build these expensive placebos? First, why did the government projects fail? It comes down to the open system fallacy. An air purifier works in your bedroom because it's a closed system. You shut the windows and the machine is able to cycle air faster than new dust enters. But a city, Delhi involves around 150 billion cubic meters of air. And polluted air from neighboring states is constantly flowing in. Don't take my word for it. An IIT Bombay and IIT Delhi study recently found out that the Connaught Place smog tower only reduced the PM 2.5 levels by about 13 to 15%, and that too only in a 100-meter radius. By the time you were 200 meters away, the impact was almost negligible. Zero impact for a 25 crores machine and a monthly running cost of around 10 to 15 lakhs. In fact, the Delhi Pollution Control Committee admitted that to cover the whole city, they would probably need around 47,000 of these smog towers. The cost, 11 lakh crores. That's more than India's health budget. So smog towers, they are monuments to bad engineering. Next up are anti-smog guns. You've seen these trucks spraying water mist at traffic signals. The physics here is wet scavenging. The goal is to make the water droplet collide with the dust particles so that it's heavy enough and it falls on the ground. But here's the engineering constraint, the droplet size. If the droplet size is too big, they fall on the ground and they miss the dust entirely. And if they're too small, they evaporate into the dry winter air. The engineering sweet spot is around 10 to 50 microns. While these work for localized dust at a construction site, spraying them at a crossroads is useless against vehicle exhaust. It creates a mud slurry on the road and the PM 2.5, it floats right through. It's like using a water pistol to fight a forest fire. Then we have the next option, cloud seeding. The Delhi government partnered with IIT Kanpur to try this. The plan involves flying aircrafts right into clouds and dumping salts like silver iodide to act as nuclei for rain. The problem? Cloud seeding can't create clouds. It can only milk existing ones. And in the Delhi cold weather, the moisture levels drop to almost 10 to 15%. You can't squeeze rain out of dry air. And that's why the trials failed. We are literally waiting for clouds to save us. Okay, so vacuuming the sky failed. We need to stop the pollution before it comes out of the pipe. And this is where the Indian deep tech startups are doing some really interesting engineering. First up is CHAKR Innovation, founded by IIT Delhi engineers. Their target, diesel generators. These machines are the backbone of power in India, but they are also nightmare emitters of black carbon. CHAKR built a retrofit emission control device. It bolts onto the exhaust and uses a solvent-based procedure to capture almost 70 to 90% of the particulate matter. But here's the genius part. They don't just dump that toxic sludge. They purify it, they remove any heavy metals, carcinogens from it, and then they just turn it into pollution ink. They are literally printing money from pollution. They've captured over 500 kgs of soot, enough to save 600,000 people from breathing it. This is the circular economy in action. Now, the big villain, the stubble burning. Farmers in Punjab burn rice straw because it's loose, it's bulky, and it's expensive to transport. It's an economic problem. Now, TAKACHAR, an MIT spin-off, won the Earthshot Prize, which gives you £1 million to solve this problem. They use a process called oxygen lean torrefaction. Think of it like roasting coffee beans. Their portable reactor burns the biomass at around 200 to 300 degrees Celsius right on the farm. This turns the bulky straw into dense, carbon-rich fuel or fertilizer, reducing its volume by 90%. Suddenly, it's cheap to transport and farmers get paid for waste rather than burning it. This isn't just tech. It's an economic unlock for rural India, which has a market potential of about 120 billion, by the way. Then there is PRAAN. In factories, dust loads are so high that HEPA filters normally choke in a matter of days. Now, PRAAN uses computer model filterless technology. It creates a high velocity charge zone which traps the dust particles without any need of any filters, which brings the maintenance costs to about zero. They're using CFD, computational fluid dynamics to clean industrial air at scale. Now I know what many of you will be thinking. We're software engineers. We can't create chemical reactors, but we can write code, and code can reduce pollution. Enter Google's Project Greenlight. This is live in Bangalore, Hyderabad and Kolkata, by the way. They realized that half of the emissions at intersections come from cars stopping and starting. Google didn't install a single sensor. They just used already the massive amount of driving data that they have due to Google Maps. Their AI models the traffic flow and tells the city engineers exactly how they need to tweak the traffic light timings in order to create a green wave. The result, a potential 10% reduction in emissions and 30% fewer stops. This is a software patch for the real world. Zero hardware, massive impact. Now next, let's talk about the financials and the consumer tech. Now why should you care about the money? Because pollution is a hidden tax. A Lancet study in 2019 revealed that pollution cost India about 1.36% of its GDP. That's around $30 billion. Other estimates put it as high as around 3% of the GDP. This is money evaporating into thin air. Now, if you're someone who's looking to invest or to build, these next few points are for you. Now, the first point is carbon markets. India is rolling out the Carbon Credit Trading Scheme, the CCTS, by around 25 or 2026. Companies like TAKACHAR that remove carbon will sell credits to the polluters. This is the next big asset class. Now, the next point is gadgets. Now, startups like Shelios have built integrated air purifiers inside helmets for bikers. They also offer Nasofilters as nasal screens. Now, we've talked about sensors, satellites, and startups. But let's talk about the city. What is the timeline for clean air? When can Delhi breathe again? The data is sobering, to say the least. A joint analysis by Sue and Terry projects that even with strict implementation of all of the policies, it will take at least 10 to 15 years for Delhi to come back into the safe air standard. And that points us to 2040. We're looking at another generation growing up in the smog. And it's not just our lungs that are dying, it's the city's soul. A recent Indo-Italian study found out that the red fort is turning black. The red sandstone is forming a black crust due to a chemical reaction with the pollutants. The history of our nation is literally corroding away. And it's a culture too. The heart of our cuisine, the tandoors of Delhi are facing bans as well. Street food vendors, the lifeline of our city, are facing a customer crisis because people are too afraid to eat dust with their food. Air anxiety is a real psychological condition here. Homes have become bunkers and social lives have contracted. Delhi isn't just a capital, it's an emotion. It's Ghalib's poetry, it's the food and it's the history. But right now, it's only just a gas chamber. The tech exists. CHAKR, TAKACHAR and the Greenlight project show that we can solve this. But we need to move away from emergency response to an engineering overhaul. We don't need more smog towers. We need to fix the farm economy. We need to fix the fuel and we need to fix the traffic algorithms. Until then, keep your mask on and maybe buy that air purifying helmet. See you in the next one.